how do you work with persons or companies, like myself? And what would, in your view, be an ideal collaboration, for instance, expect from me as a consultant for these manufacturers? How would that work ideally for you?
Ideally.
Ideally, if you had a magic stick.
The manufacturer tells you that, Evelyn, I would like to have a CE mark, and your answer is, okay, give me all the paper. You manage all the paper perfectly. Give it to me, and this is the ideal situation. The manufacturer asks you, you ask me, and then my answer is, Evelyn, the documents are great. Let's just finalize the CE.
High five!
Yeah. But in real life, maybe your main help could create contact between the manufacturer, the CRO, or somebody who is making the field trials, to figure out, which goal would you like to reach, which claim would you like to justify, and
that's a good point.
To talk us that whether it is suitable or not, because sometimes we give feedback that okay, that would be the acceptable way or justification. After then, you have to work together with the manufacturer regarding the components and the technical documentation, and sending all the documents for us, and the emails back and forward, which are missing and which are not. This is the step where you can help or fasten the whole situation. I'm sure that Zsuzsanna has so many experience, with this email letter sending, and I'm sure that she has also opinion this. How can we, harmonize with our situation and the consultant situation with the manufacturers? Because it's also a key element of the fast work.
And the deadline absolutely depends on the manufacturer. If we find something to correct in your technical documentation, we indicate this incorrect part of the technical documentation for the manufacturer. And in my experience, sometimes I must wait for a long time for correction from the manufacturer side. And I can understand this situation, but the deadline can be a little bit later than it was planned previously.
I understand that.
Because sometimes I realize that manufacturers sometimes don't understand exactly my comments. For example, because if they don't understand well the FPR, fertilizer product regulation, and the manufacturers wait from Certrans to give advice, but we cannot give advice. We can indicate missing details or failures or something similar, but we can give advice.
So I get your point, Zsuzsanna. That's very often what I'm also confronted with. And it turns out that very often I draft a document for a manufacturer, a document that is missing. It happens very often because manufacturers, depending on the size of the company and the background of the person I'm dealing with, if it's a person that doesn't have the necessary technical background, they don't understand, and they have no clue of actually what is actually missing and don't understand what to do. So that's where often I step in and act as the translator actually between the authorities and the manufacturer, draft certain documents so that I can fill the gap. And you mentioned an interesting role as well, which is actually kind of the role of a coordinator between the manufacturer and the CROs in order to produce the missing data. That's an interesting one.
Yes, if there is a consulting company, just like your company, we have a connection and cooperation with this consulting company and not directly with the manufacturer. And if you have a practice in FPR, you haven't any problem to understand my comments or other experts' comments.
Which could speed up the process drastically, of course, because if we talk and we understand each other, and I know exactly what you mean when you're saying I have this and this and this, which is missing, please provide it to me. Perfectly understood.
But that there are another thing which could help a little bit for the manufacturer. It's always good to keep a person, for example, as somebody who is related to product development, who understand how the product is working and what is the goal of the product. Because naturally, a whole company, develops a product, but sometimes there are the small things which are, better known from other people who are more related to the product development. So it's always good to involve somebody who knows not only the legal stuff, but the properties of the product better. This could be, a significant step forward with the whole registration, the whole legal question. So summarizing the deeper knowledge from the manufacturer's side, from our side naturally, because we have to improve ourselves day by day, and from yourself as a consultant as well, is the key for speeding up the whole procedure.
Excellent. Is there a possibility to reach out to you in case of specific questions or really dossier related questions? And is that something that you would be happy to do, for instance, with me? Because what I could do is, collect the questions that I get and I get back to you and we set up another interview, but then on specific questions. And or is there possibility for my clients, for instance, to get in touch directly with you even? And who would that be? Would it be Marton? Would it be Zsuzsanna? Would it be you, Ildiko? So how it best to deal with specific dossier related questions? How would you like to see that? Is it me who contacts you? Is it my clients who contact you directly? Or would you wish for having this kind of platform on an as needed basis where we discuss certain specific topics, knowing that, of course, we can never talk. I mean, I can never talk about, specific clients or specific products. I would always put it in a way that it cannot be identified what it is exactly, what kind of product or the commercial name rather. What's your take on that?
I think a connection directly with the manufacturer can be absolutely useful because they know everything and a lot about that product. But it can also work to connect to you. But in this case, you have connection with your clients. I think this solution can be a little bit longer because there is an intermediate stage in the process. But if you are perfect in regarding that product, it's absolutely good for us to contact with you.
It's quite interesting. I by myself really appreciate all the questions because it's quite weird to admit that we learn the most from questions. So my answer is that feel free to ask and always ask because there are no wrong questions. And who will answer? That one will answer first. Who will read the email? Or who knows the answer, or sometimes we try to find solution together and we answer via Teams or any kind of online meetings. And in some cases, there are small problems which could, have huge impact for the manufacturers. They are thinking days by days. Meanwhile, it talks for us for only a couple of minutes. So my suggestion is, yes, ask and always ask, and we always try to help. And there are quite simple questions or questions which seem simple. Just send them. We can write an email or we can make a meeting anytime when you need it. It's desirable.
That's perfect, Ildiko. Yeah. And just before I ask another question, should all questions be sent to Marton or to you? Or because in order to not spam you with questions all over the place, is it better to send them to Marton and he then spreads them to whomever he thinks is fit? Okay.
Yeah. And we are educating him as well, and we are learning a lot from him as well. So sometimes he's capable to answer because his practice is growing day by day. So
of course,
it's always a key element in our company that we are keeping education for each other as well every month. Zsuzsanna is teaching, PFCs for us and Marton sales, and I teaching biostimulants. We are trying to grow our competence in any kind of question. Send Marton, and he can just send forward or just answer. Yeah.
I'm also thinking again, it's just a thought crossing my mind. I could very well imagine, Ildiko, that in the future we will discuss and have Teams meetings like this to discuss specific questions. We record them, and those where we both think these could be of general interest, we can publish them so that there is a kind of knowledge base growing in the community who will follow us. And we learn from it and our clients learn from it. If that would be an idea that we could agree with, I think that's certainly something that would be highly appreciated because there's still a lot of open questions and things which are not entirely clear.
Yeah, that's right. My answer is absolutely yes. However, I think it's always important to keep in our mind that, all manufacturer is different. And these kind of, product related questions are quite essential and quite confidential. So
that's for sure. Yeah. I'm just thinking, for instance, you mentioned early on that there will be soon a harmonized way of sequencing microorganisms.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that, when we talk about new guidance or which touch actually all Europe and all manufacturers equally. Of course, we will not discuss one product openly. Of course not. I'm just thinking about more general topics or questions or developments which actually touch everyone. So.
Yes. Of course, yeah, in this case, my answer is absolutely positive. And, the first document which will be published soon is the document and the guidance of the biostimulant subgroup meeting, which will help the manufacturers to get more answers which are related to biostimulants. So yeah, it's always good, talk about that documents or any kind of related documents, which could help the manufacturers. Harmonize standards, special requirements of the FPR, possibilities choosing CMCs or any kind of this information. Yeah.
Perfect. Is Marton, Zsuzsanna, do you want to add something? Because I'm at the end of my questions. I found it highly interesting, and floor is open to you if you want to add something, a remark, a comment, an idea.
No, thank you. If you have any question and you think I can answer you, don't hesitate to contact me.
Absolutely. Marton, anything from your side?
Not really. I just really want to thank you all for coming to this event, and hopefully this work will be continue as the pace this is.
Ildiko,
anything else from your side to finalize?
Yeah, almost the same as Marton's. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about biostimulants because, I'm capable to talk biostimulants, I don't know, day and night.
Hours, I can imagine.
Yeah, so long. I really prefer this kind of side of our job. But yeah, if you have any question, feel free to ask. In the same time, I would like to thank you for organizing the event. And if we could help in any way you or the manufacturers, just contact and we can solve all the problems.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, then I would like to thank you all, and also big thanks to Elena, who organized the physical virtual meeting, kind of. She was going berserk with that. So thank you so much for your time, for your presence, for your nice contribution. It was really, really useful. Thank you again. Thank you to all of you, and see you soon. Have a good day.
See you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye for now.
See you. Bye.
Bye.